Both of these clips are being recorded on the same camera and being recorded at the exact same time. Which one do you think looks better, and which one do you think was captured with the new computer? Spoiler alert, you're wrong. The one that you see here, why am I pointing? Okay, this is stupid. But the one that you see on the left of your screen was recorded on a newer computer than the one that you see on the right of your screen. The right of the screen is the more high quality version editing me. And if you don't believe me, here's the video. Hi guys, from a different angle. So the higher quality ones being recorded on a PowerBook G4, and the lower quality ones being recorded on a iMac Core 2 Duo, I believe. I don't have to use this, it's just because it fits with the theme of my channel. I could totally use my MacBook Neo if I wanted to. I just don't want to have to go find an adapter or steal the hub from my desk. But anyways, I digress. So what do you think is going on here, and why do you think that the newer computer is producing a worse image than the older one? That's what we're going to get to in bleh. So that's what we're going to get to in this video. But first of all, I'm going to make you stop watching the very low quality split screen that I'm doing right now. So let's get back to higher quality video. Well, we can definitely agree that neither of these are modern computers. Why does this one look so much worse than the older one? Well, I'm going to show you. But first, let's talk about my camera. This is literally the camera I use for every single shot that I'm at my talking head position. I know you never see these tiles, I'm going to extend them, but this is turning into a studio tour. So, what's going on here? You see, there's two outputs, and I don't know why I did this. Hold on. Because I was trying to copy the video from the iMac to the PowerBook because the server thing wasn't working. Gotta use AFP while I still can. Anyways, so that's plugged in now. So the secret is the connection. With the iMac here, I was using Composite NS Video. I was running it into, I unplugged it so I could use my keyboard, but I think it fell to the floor. The secret is that I was using one of these easy capture cards. Well, with the PowerBook, I was using FireWire. Now, FireWire with something like a DV cam is honestly the best thing you could use. Now, why does this matter? So, why I'm bringing this up in the year 2026 when no one but me, who has a weird YouTube channel, is using one of these DV cam devices. Well, as I try to unplug... Okay, you know what? I'm just going to close this. The reason I bring this up is because people are buying these devices, plugging them into their VCRs, capturing all their family memories and all that, and then throwing all their tapes away, leaving them with terrible quality video from one of these cheap Amazon devices. So how can we fix this? And what does my DV cam have to do with that? I will explain once I get back to my talking headshot that is not captured through composite. So the first solution is easy. If you're just capturing stuff off of, for example, a Digital 8 Handycam or something along those lines, you can just use FireWire. That is not that hard. You can get a FireWire cable on Amazon for a couple bucks, and if you have an older laptop laying around that has a FireWire port, which was taken from Granite on Macs back then, now we only have USB-C, thanks Apple. But if you have like an older Mac or an older PC, dig it out of the closet, you can digitize with that. Well, I say digitize loosely because if you're using a Digital 8 camera, the footage is already digital. The reason why it looks so bad when I use the composite capture card is, first of all, composite is lower quality than FireWire, and actually, no, I'm sorry, I was using S-Video, so it should have been much better, and if I was using composite, it would be worse. So the reason that looks worse is because it's converting digital signal. This camera, which I'm recording with on the PowerBook as we speak, records in digital to tape. I'm not recording to tape, I'm just recording over FireWire, but that doesn't matter. It records a digital signal. That's the thing you need to know. When you use a device like this, these cables, composite and S-Video, these are analog. So you're taking a digital signal, you're converting it to analog, and then which composite and S-video are lower quality. Composite and S-video are lower quality than what you will get with FireWire. So you're reducing the quality of that signal, and then you're reconverting it to digital, to USB, so you can capture it on your computer. So obviously, you're going through way more steps and converting it to lower quality footage through S-video and composite, and you're making that signal worse. So what can you do? Because not everyone wants to hold on to their VCR for the rest of time, and they want it to be digitized on their computer, and I know you wish it was easy as USB to composite capture card. There are a couple workarounds. So first of all, I was trying to say this earlier, but I go off on tangents, and like half of my videos are not scripted. This is not one of them. This is not scripted. The first option is if you have like a digital handycam that has FireWire, get the FireWire, get like a laptop or computer that has FireWire, and if you have a desktop, you can get a FireWire PCIe card and install it in your computer. Do not get a USB to FireWire cable. Those things do not work for this. People do that, and then they return them because that's not how that works. You cannot take FireWire and convert it to USB. They are completely different signals. It is not possible. Don't listen to what they say on the internet. It is not possible. Anyways, so you would just plug it into your camera, and then if you're using a Mac, you can use QuickTime or Final Cut, whatever floats your boat. I will note that in macOS 26 and later, you cannot capture FireWire, even if you have like the chain of dongles, which I had, and I'm angry because now I can't use them on my new Neo. On my older Mac, I was using that chain of adapters to attach to this camera, and now I can't use that, and I'm angry. Not like I could because I was Thunderbolt. Okay, anyways, doesn't matter. One thing you do is if you have a slightly newer Mac from like 2011, I think is when they discontinued FireWire on new Macs, and like 2016, something like that, when they switched to Thunderbolt 3. You can get a Thunderbolt 3 to Thunderbolt 2 adapter, but they're expensive. So you can get a Thunderbolt 2 to FireWire adapter, and then you can capture on your newer Mac with that. But at that point, just use an older laptop if you wanted to. So that's why I bring up the macOS 26 thing. If you're on Windows, you can use this program called WinDV. It has not been updated since Windows XP, but it works great. So that'd be my first choice for recording on Windows. There are a couple different types of FireWire. There's 400, 800, and iLink. Well, iLink's technically not a speed. So there's a 4-pin, 6-pin, and an 8-pin connector, I believe. And you can get conversions between all of them. So maybe you have the smaller 4-pin adapter, 4-pin part on your your camera, and you have an 8-pin on your computer. Well, you can get a cable that converts between those on Amazon for pretty cheap. So that's always an option. Next thing is if you're not using one of those digital cameras. Let's say you're using a VCR and capturing from your old tapes from the 80s, and you recorded them on like VHS-C on an older Handycam. You can do that too. You can do this with Beta, anything like that. They have a box. They're kind of expensive now because they've gained popularity on YouTube. Shout out to V Westlife. The Sony DVMC DA2. DVMC DA2. They're kind of expensive on eBay. And basically what they do is they take in an analog signal and then they convert it to FireWire. And then you can plug that into your computer. Now, again, you're going to need an older computer. But I digress. So you can do that. And then you plug it in, and it's much higher quality because it has a time-based corrector. I'm not going to get into it what a time-based corrector is, but you can go look it up on YouTube. It's basically, it makes the signal more stable. So it reduces shakiness, stuff like that. And you get a much higher quality video signal. The other option is you could use a VCR and a Handycam. So let's say you have, I could do this with this camera right now. I'm not going to because I don't want to take my VCR out of my entertainment center. But what you can do is you can plug a VCR composite output. This is not all Handycams, so I would look up the model you have to see if you can do this. You can plug in the input from the VCR into the AV jacks on your Handycam, and then you can make it pass through to FireWire as a capture card, and that usually works just as well as the DVMC DA2. Not all of them have time-based correctors, but they're usually much higher quality because, again, I reiterate, FireWire is much higher quality than one of these devices. Alright, now here's some myths. Elgato video capture cards are not good. They pretty much all derive from like 6 of the exact same chips. These EasyCap devices are very similar. I would go watch there's a VWest Live video about capture cards that's really good and informative. That really educated me on this subject before I made this video. So I would totally go watch that. Basically everything, just go watch VWest Live. And me, because I'm small. I'm a small YouTuber. But go watch VWest Live. His content is amazing. Thank you. That's the end of the public service announcement. But again, don't get these. Don't get like Elgato or something like that. You're paying $80 for a terrible video capture card. And don't throw away your tapes. The tapes are the highest quality. What happens if your hard drive dies? What if your computer dies and the SSD inside dies? There's so many things that could go wrong. And yet your VHS tapes have been sitting in storage for 40 years. And guess what? They're probably fine. And they are going to be fine for longer. If you're worried about that, you could just make a copy of the tape if you really wanted to. Or just do the FireWire thing. It will work better in the long run. But keep your tapes. They are the highest quality that you have. So keep them. Because one thing that really hurts is that my grandfather, he recorded all this stuff on Super 8 film. And then back in the 80s, he had it transferred all to beta. And then he copied it all over to VHS because he was one of those beta people. But he threw away all his old Super 8 film. And that pains me now because you can scan Super 8 film in up to like 5K now, which is like insanely good. And yet all of that footage that I have is in like 240i because it's on VHS. So anyways, that was another tangent. I do tangents a lot. So if you'd like random me yapping about random tech, telling you not to buy these stupid things that I just want to throw against the wall, I actually did throw that, then please consider subscribing. I don't know. I want to burn that thing. It's awful. Anyways, thank you for watching. Bye.